Hey everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at Richard and Alice. This is a game from Owl Cave. It's been out for a while, but just recently came out for Steam. It's only available on Windows. I'm gonna turn the audio down a little bit here while we go through this. Sorry about that. When I click out, the audio actually closes out if it's not the active window, but that is okay. It is $3 for the opening week sale, and it will be $6 after that, so there will be a link in the description to the Steam page so that you can pick it up if you would like to. So, I am going to jump in here. I did finish the game. It took me about 3 hours total. And, I'm very, very positive about it. I think there's only kind of one or two real, negatives that I have about it. But let's just start in here. So, there's going to be a lot of dialogue, and some of it is going to be a little not safe for work, just so you know ahead of time. So, it's snowing again? Aw, man. What's wrong with that, son? The last slot's barely melted yet. I'm fed up of the snow every time it's the same. It's cold, it's wet, and everything comes to a standstill. It just makes me feel miserable, Dad. Rich, listen to me. Remember what I always used to say? Aw, Dad, not now. Alright, but Dad, come on. What's really the problem, son? You used to love the snow. I was a kid back then. I guess I've just grown up. It doesn't feel magical anymore. Psh, what nonsense. It still feels magical to me, and I'm twice your age. 3 times, Dad. Maybe even 4. Ha! The cheek. You don't want to grow up too quickly, son. Trust me. One day, a time will come when you have no choice but to grow up, and you'll miss days like this. The magic, the snow, snowmen. Go enjoy it, I say. Dad. Yep. You can be a right sap sometimes. Perhaps. But okay, the snow is great fun. I cannot wait to build a snowman. Happy now? Very. And don't think I can't see that smirk on your face too, mister. Now go on, give your friends a call, go out and play. It's snowing. Alright, so that's kind of like the opening sort of frame for our story here. And then you can see that things suddenly got very not okay, and the snow is still there, and that's kind of a big thing that'll kind of be present throughout the game, is that the world is kind of covered in snow and it's not going away. It's sort of this weird kind of post-apocalyptic sort of thing. Deep in the rainforest of Honduras lives this fascinating creature. It's a brown-throated sloth, the most widespread and common of the 3-toed sloths in the area. I'm just going to skip past the TV dialogue, I think. Yeah, he's just going to kind of talk to the TV. So we're still Richard here. And I just want to get into a little of the more kind of story-based dialogue. So as you can see, if you noticed up there, there was a woman up there for a brief second. Hello? Hello? And that would obviously be Alice. So basically, the gameplay is going to fold out in kind of 2 parts. We're going to have these parts where we are imprisoned, and then we're going to play through Alice's story leading up to how she got in prison. So it's pretty interesting. We kind of go back and forth here. Hopefully I'll be able to show off a little of both parts. Hi there. It's been a while since I've seen another face. How are you? I mean, not great, I assume, since you've just... I'm Richard, anyway. Nice to meet you. Hello? Hi. I said I'm Richard. I heard what you said. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I thought I'd say hello. I know I wanted some company when I first got here, but do you want to be left alone? No, sorry, it's okay. Well, like I say, I'm Richard, and you are... Alice. Alice, pleased to meet you, Alice. Quite the conversationalist, huh? Sorry, it's been a long time since I've spoken to anyone, really. I'll let you get settled, anyway. No, honestly, it's fine. Sorry, I guess I'm just a bit flustered. That's understandable. So what did you want to talk about? I'm not sure. What's the protocol for meeting new people in prison? I'm not used to there being anyone in that cell. The ceiling had collapsed. They only just got around to fixing it recently. Should we get to know each other? So we can kind of lead the conversation here how we would like to. So what are you going in for? Murder. Are you, serious? Yeah. Well, it's what they say. And, did you do it? If I told you yes, would you be scared of me? I'm not... Relax, there's 2 sets of bars between us. Put it this way, I've learned some things recently. Oh? Yeah, about moral relativity, I suppose you'd call it. How do you mean? Well, since the snow started, things have changed, right? Definitely, there's no denying that. They didn't predict it soon enough. No one was able to bring it under control. It took over, dominated our lives. It changed people, but only because people were forced to adapt. So what are you saying? What I'm saying is, I used to think killing was wrong, under all circumstances. But now? Now I'm not so sure what I think anymore. So? Do you want to know about me? Well, sure, whatever. Well, I'm Richard, as you know, and, oh gosh, what do you want to know? Whatever. Right, where to start? Where to start? Well, I was in the military, actually, and that's why I'm here. I broke some rules, shall we say. I mean, don't get me wrong, I stand by what I did. Those men were petrified. They were heading for certain death. I couldn't bring myself to be... well, anyway. You've been here a while, then. Organized warfare is a thing of the past. Yeah, you could say that. All the violence that the weather brought with it, more needless wars. These days it's just chaos, or so I hear. I just don't believe it needed to happen anymore. Sure, no one dealt with the weather well, I understand that. And I understand that deaths were inevitable, but so much fighting? I don't know. I think being a parent has settled my views on that. Sorry, yeah. Are you okay? Yeah, sorry, go on. Well, that was it, really. I don't know. I'll do anything to protect my daughter. Have you got kids? Little boy, Barney. It's a nice name. I bet you miss him. Yeah, I do. Getting used to being away from your family is the hardest part. I keep a photo of mine by my bed, stare at it every night until I fall asleep. Can I see? Sure, I'll find a way of getting it across to you. Bear with me. Alright, so now we get into kind of the more typical adventure gameplay here. And at this point, I'm probably going to skip the rest of the dialogue that shows up just because I want to start like getting a move on with hopefully showing you a part of Alice's past as well. So that's what we're going to do here. We can interact with a lot of this stuff, but a lot of it is time sensitive based on how far we are into the story. So some of it he'll just say like, I don't need to do that right now. So as far as like you are, as far as like figuring out the puzzles, it's never like too difficult because for the most part this character, these characters actually, because you play both of them at various points, won't let you really like deal with something unless unless you need to use it right now to solve the current puzzle. So that's kind of nice, I think. It takes out a little bit of the randomness. Again, sorry, I'm skipping a lot of this dialogue. Right, so now we're going to move into Alice's past. Yeah, if you are not into a lot of reading, I would say that maybe this isn't the game for you. Personally, I really liked it, but I'm into kind of really story-based games, and the game has a really nice story to it. So that worked well for me. I know a lot of people, however, are not like super into, oh, you know, a lot of reading and just a little bit of gameplay. That's kind of what's going on here. So alright, we'd been trapped for a while, and one day I just knew we had to get out, right there and then. I'm not going to do the singing. Sorry. Barney. This goes on for a little bit. Barney, what are you doing? Singing? I guess I'll take this moment to talk about the art style, because personally I think the art style is really nice. You know, it's definitely kind of like lo-fi, I would say. Obviously it's pixelated. I don't really know like what you would call this. I don't know if it's technically 16-bit or if it's just done in pixels. But I think it looks really nice either way. I think, you know, like I said, it is kind of lo-fi, but I think it works really, really well with kind of the story that's going on here. And, you know, I really like the difference between, like, the character portraits and what we can actually see of the character in the game. I think there's kind of a nice distinction there. And, you know, there's kind of like this interesting abstractness to the character because it's so kind of lo-fi. Like, when we just see the character without the character portrait, certain features are kind of muddled a little bit, and I kind of like that a lot. And I don't know if we're going to get actually outside before the video is over, but once you get outside, there's a lot of really nice looking stuff too. But yeah, I think the art style is really, really nailed in this game, and it fits really well with this kind of bleak sort of outcome of the future, I guess. So yeah, let's continue on here with the story. It doesn't matter. Hey, I know a good game to play. Remember the game where we have to be really quiet? Oh, yes. Do you remember that one? Do you remember why we have to be quiet? Or the bad man will come. Exactly, that game is fun, right? Well, I think now's the time to play that game. Yay! Barney, be quiet. Barney, be really quiet for me, okay? What the hell is all that racket? It's nothing, sorry. Don't make me come in there. I will, you know. I know, it's alright, I promise. You need to learn to shut him up. Come on, he's just a kid. Hey, I'm 5.5. Barney, shh. Aw, isn't he adorable? I've half a mind to come in there anyway, just to see his face. No, honestly, we're fine. He was just playing. But he'll be quiet. We won't disturb you anymore. See to it that you don't. I think the other thing that the game really nails is the sound design in general. I think I could use maybe a little bit more music throughout, because there's a lot of segments like this where there just isn't any music, but we do kind of have this nice kind of ambient sound going in the background a lot of the time, which I think works pretty well. So yeah, I mean, maybe not like the strongest sound design, maybe just because there's a lot of this kind of downtime where you're not really hearing anything, and it would be nice to hear some music in the background. And by the way, the puzzles do get much more difficult later. It's pretty simple to begin with, but they do a good job of, like, as you get farther in the game, the puzzles are harder. So I think that works really, really well as far as, like, consistency of difficulty throughout the game. Alright. So, we can choose to talk to Barney if we want. What I'm actually going to do is just solve this puzzle. And this will probably be about where we end. So basically there's a hole here, which we're going to block up. What? Oh, maybe I have to... Oh, maybe I have to talk to Barney first. Let's talk about escaping. So, clearly, like, we're in this really awful situation where we're being held captive, right? And I think it's pretty obvious from, like, again, sorry, I'm skipping a lot of this dialogue, but there's just not time to go through much of it today. But basically, it seems like from the characterizations that they, you know, we're kind of okay with this situation at first because it meant that they weren't out in the cold, but now obviously I think they're realizing that, like, it would be better to be outside and freezing than be held captive, which I think is pretty understandable. So basically what's going on here is that through talking to Barney, you remembered that when the lights go off, he has to reset the power. When the power is reset, the door lock doesn't work anymore because we can see it's kind of an electric lock. So we tricked him into thinking that the lights are out, and then we're going to escape. And basically, like, right when the escape should happen, we're going to cut back to the prison. And that's kind of how we're going to do the rest of the game, is it cuts back and forth, and that's kind of cool. So basically, we are telling our story, but through telling the story, we get to play the story. And that'll be kind of each section. So this is the end of kind of the first major section. There's maybe like 5 or 6 of these big sections, talking about like the back and forth. So one section would be like a prison segment, and then an Alice segment. So, like I said, it took me about 3 hours to get through the whole thing. The strongest point of the game is very much the story. As far as other things, I think I wanted to mention with sound design, this section is a lot better, in my opinion. Like, we don't need a lot musically going on, but just having kind of these kind of tonal swells going on in the background is enough to kind of keep it interesting, especially because you're going to be focusing on the dialogue a lot. I guess we didn't actually have any swearing or anything. There is a lot of swearing throughout, so if that bothers you, it is in there. Just thought I should point that out. But I think that is all we need to show off for today. I can definitely give this a big recommendation if you are a fan of story-based games. If you're a fan of adventure games, it's a really, really easy recommendation. And it's pretty competitively priced as well, even at the not on sale price. So I would definitely say, pick this one up, give it a go. I think it is excellent. I was really pretty moved by the story at a lot of points, and I think it tells an interesting story in an interesting world. And I didn't necessarily always see the next part coming, so it's not totally like a predictable story either. But I think that will be where I end it for today. So, as always, feel free to leave comments. If there's anything that you would like to comment on, subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day, and if you liked my video on Richard and Alice, then please do consider clicking the like button. But with that, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.